Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a sneak peek for the year of 2026 Tarot Oracle reading. And Cancer, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign is not Cancer, we still all have a little bit of that sign in us. If you have your birth chart, which house is it in? That's where this energy shows up for you. My goal is to provide valuable information to empower you. This is a general reading, so keep in mind that parts of it may or may not resonate with you. I've already shuffled and washed the cards. I just wanted to give them a quick cut. And let's start the reading off with the energy from the bottom of the deck. We have fulfillment. Yay! That's a good way to have, that's a good underlying energy to have for a reading. Fulfillment is the Four of Wands. So this card represents, ultimate, it's sort of the baby steps for total fulfillment. There's four wands. So this house, we have the castle in the background and, like friendly neighbors, that kind of energy. And the castle, what I mean by the beginnings of fulfillment, this might be like where you're at the stage where you had enough money to put the down payment on the castle, which is an accomplishment in itself, and now but you still have the mortgage payments. So it's kind of like building on the fulfillment that you already have. And this card, you'll notice that the wands are really large in context to the rest of the picture. And this is saying like you will have to work for it. It's also saying don't sell yourself short, and you have to enter the portal to be able to have this fulfillment. This also represents the 1111 portal or a 111 portal, and that's when you'll know it when you get there, because you just start seeing like the clock at 1111, 111, addresses, license plates at 1111 or 111, and it's just sort of a synchronistic way that the universe reminds us when you see that, to make sure that you are really aware of your thoughts, focusing on where you want to go and what you want to accomplish, because you are a very powerful manifestor. What an awesome start to a reading. And then we have the King of Wands in the position of January. So the King of Wands is sitting on his throne, and the King of Wands is like the most charismatic, charming, of all the kings, someone that you wouldn't kick out of bed for eating crackers. And he's like visionary, and he's the life of the party, like that kind of energy. He's got his hand on a wand, and the wands are actually wood, and they're representing like the tree. And so the roots represent the ancestors, and the offshoots at the top represent the descendants. So this is talking about he's always ready to take action. He is an interesting person, with, well-educated and also, well-versed and good with people, that kind of energy. And so this is the January position. So this is the card of marriage also in the tarot. So maybe the King of Wands wants to marry someone, or you're about to meet a King of Wands this year. That wouldn't hurt if you're looking for love. Hey. And then we have the Eight of Pentacles. And the Eight of Pentacles is a sign. This is the only pentacle card in the tarot deck where the person is actually working on the coin. So this one actually does mean making money. And the energy is either you just started and you're on the second coin, or you've already accomplished all of these and you're on the seventh and just have the eighth to go. So it could go every way. In any case, this is someone that is really focused on their skill set and focused on their work. So the energy might be saying, this is in February, and in February is when we have the Chinese New Year. So sometimes the year kind of changes then. And I feel like this is saying like in 2025, you were hard at work and you are almost completing a project that you were working on. Or it could mean that in 2026 you started this in January and you're just at work on the second one. And then we have the Hierophant coming in, and the Hierophant is sitting on his throne, and he represents authority, traditional structure. Marriage is a traditional structure, contracts, and what he also represents is the spiritual realm. So contracts in the spiritual realm, and also on the planet Earth. And he's got two monks here that they're almost identical here. They've shaved their heads on top, on the crown, because they want to be able to get the information from the Most High as well as from the Hierophant. And the Hierophant's hand is in a sign of a blessing. So I feel like maybe this is saying that you might be the King of Wands that's been working very hard on a project, and now you're almost done. And there's a blessing coming. The Hierophant is here with a blessing for you. And that blessing could be someone that, that you would marry. I want you to recognize also that the King of Wands is an archetype. So as an archetype, that means that could be a female in her masculine energy or a male in their masculine energy, as well as the Hierophant. And then we have the Nine of Swords. And so the Nine of Swords is talking about a period of hardship. It's like a never-ending nightmare, just over and over and over and over again, the same thing. And maybe after you've been working really hard at something, and maybe the money hasn't come in yet because you need to finish the last coin. But when you do that, the Hierophant's going to come in with a blessing, and it's like looking at this card here, fulfillment. And this is saying like that this is a never-ending nightmare. Perhaps you've been in a situation where you really had to work hard to make money and had to be really innovative about it, I'm getting. This card represents someone who wakes up from a bad dream, or it can be an indication of someone that received enlightenment from God, through the dreams, through the Holy Spirit, and that you are trying to remember the dream because it gave you enlightenment. And so sometimes if you look at these 9 swords like this, they're laying down, so they're not really in use, and they look like steps. So maybe this person, if this is you, are trying to remember the dream. And this blanket here, this quilt, has images of the cosmos on it, like symbols from that. And it's saying that you are covered by the universe. So I feel like maybe you've been in a challenging position, and now this enlightenment comes, this blessing is coming in, and that's the enlightenment you receive. And then you'll have fulfillment. We have January, February, March, April, May. Oh, look at that. I feel like that's what it's saying. Like by mid-year, something will come, like your hard work cycle, because this is talking about ending that cycle. And now we have someone who's at peace. The Four of Swords represents someone who's hung the subconscious, unconscious, and conscious minds up on the wall, and they've put their thoughts to rest. And this is someone, excuse me, I got the hiccups. This is someone who is meditating and in meditative prayer. The window in the background is a stained glass window, which generally are in churches. And there's a word on here saying Pax, P-A-X, and this is a representative peace. So this card represents peace of mind by going inward. And so it may be that you received this enlightenment, which was a blessing from the Most High, and now you are meditating, okay, what's my next step? And then when we get to June, this card is saying you've been in a mental prison. Now, for some people, this might be that the King of Wands comes, that you're not the King of Wands. You're the person that's working hard, and some sort of judgment was made about something you did, possibly, because this is about being duty bound. So we'll see. Like, this energy is talking about someone who feels like they're blindfolded and they can't see a way out. But with this card, like, it's interesting because we have the King of Wands, we've got the fulfillment, we've got like working hard, which is good. If you love your work, you won't notice you're working hard, and hopefully you're working smart and as well. And then the Hierophant is coming in with this blessing of fulfillment, and it has to do with marriage. But for some reason, all of a sudden, these really like stressed out, you know, and then looking for enlightenment because you are trapped in some sort of prison, some sort of energy like that. This could speak of someone, if you're maybe trapped in a relationship you don't want to be in, and now you're going to find a way out. That energy could be coming up. We'll see, like, as we go here. But what this is talking about is someone who really could just walk away. Like, there's nothing stopping her. Her legs are not bound. She could walk away and go get help. She's blindfolded, but behind her there's these 7 swords, and then there's just this one here. Like, she could, you know, use that sword somehow to get out of this mess. And her right foot is moving forward. She's already on solid ground here. And I feel like this is representative of her emotions. And this is actually her left foot is actually in shallow water. So this is talking about, like, the problem is not as challenging as she thinks it is. Like, or she has already solved most of the problem. I mean, here we have 9 and now we only have 8, right? So I feel like this is saying 7 of them are behind her and now she has 1. But you notice that her back is to the castle. She's not walking towards the castle. So this could represent leaving a relationship, a marriage. That could be what this is about. And yeah, then the Lovers comes up. So this is either, it's possible she met the King of Wands, and now she was in a real difficult situation, and the King of Wands wants to marry her and then help her out of this situation. It could be that you are the King of Wands, and you're deciding whether or not you want to be with someone or not, and you're thinking about it. The clouds between the Lovers represent an energy of not knowing each other that well. So it's always a good idea to get to know someone really well. This energy sometimes speaks of being duty bound. So it could be that you are in a position where you have family or something like that, or you have a position at work or whatever that's keeping you where you're at. You need to make money to be able to get out of it, or to pay for the divorce because they're expensive. So we'll keep going here. But the Sun is in the background here, and this Lovers card represents a divine couple. This could be someone that met the King of Wands, and he is charming. So you know, and now they're like thinking about leaving the person they're with right now, that they're already married to, or to marry the King of Wands. Whatever's happening here, because this is June, July, you know, the Sun is like here for the summer, and we're into August here. So the Chariot represents forward, quick movement, moving forward. The thing is this card also represents like actual physical jail, and this card can represent a judge. So there might be someone here worried about court proceedings, that it could be like that sometimes people end up in court if they're getting divorced, or you know, something like that, or that there was some sort of something that happened and it had to do with a lover, and there's, because this represents getting on your life path, like moving forward on your life path, your divine path. And these black and whites can sometimes represent law enforcement, like the police, because in the old days they used to have black and white vehicles. And it's like there's no reins on this, on this chariot. So the rider, the person that's in the chariot, doesn't have control of where this is going. This is out of your control. But generally, it can mean karma has come in. So we'll see what's going on here. That's in August-ish, September. Yeah, and then we have the Empress coming in. So the Empress is sitting on her throne, and she is like absolutely the generator of energy. She's laid back. She's got a crop growing. It's wheat, and so this represents a crop out in the field. So once it's planted, she doesn't stress herself out about it because nature will take its course, and she knows it will. Like, she can't make it rain, you know, that kind of energy. So whatever happens to the crop is a part of nature, and so she just allows it to grow. And she's all four queens wrapped up into one person. This card represents someone who's pregnant with possibilities. So this could represent someone that got pregnant and you might have been, should I keep the baby? Should I adopt the baby out? Should I get married? I feel like being like that would be the choice because of the traditional structure maybe you were raised in. And this could very much be that kind of energy. The Empress is someone that is marriage material. For all four queens rolled into one is like a pretty amazing woman. Like the qualities of, the Queen of Pentacles, really good with finances, able to make something out of nothing, values the dollar and values a quality life over quantity. And then we've got, the Queen of Wands, who's really super sexy and has a sunny disposition and has creative solutions for problems. And then we got the Queen of Swords, who's been through enough bullshit that she can cut through it, and she can have really good common sense. And then who are we missing? We've got the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups is the most maternal of all the queens, and she is really solid in her emotions. You can count on her. And so the Empress is all of those qualities rolled into one person. And this card represents marriage. This card represents pregnancy. And as I said, it could be, if you're not pregnant, this card could be pregnant with possibilities. But I feel like it's leaning towards someone who is in a situation possibly where you're pregnant and deciding whether or not to get married. Maybe the King of Wands. King of Wands can sometimes, he can have a roving eye. He's a visionary. He likes to look out there, And so sometimes he can be a bit of a player. So this energy could be about some sort of energy like that. Let's keep going. A judgment's been called. So this is representing around September, October. And, this could be past, present, future. So this could have already happened and you've already made the decision. You're just making the decision now, or this is something that's going to occur in the future. And in the near future, though, because the energy is like moving already. And so this energy, there's a few scenarios here. There's the law one, and that could be both. It could be someone who's going to court because they're getting divorced and they're fighting over all the hard-earned money. This could be someone who met the King of Wands and ended up, carrying a child, and now, deciding what should I do with that. And the King of Wands deciding, should I, am I going to leave my first family to be with this person? Because this can be duty bound. This can represent prison as well, a never-ending nightmare as well. So the energy, I feel, is telling a few stories, and it's kind of one is about romance, one is about a business that you love to be in, and one is about some sort of actions that were taken that were that are involving law and order on the third dimension. This being a judge, jail, and police, and then a judgment coming through in a court of law. And so judgment could also be like if the King of Wands and this other person, this Empress, are planning to get married and maybe have a baby on the way, planning to get divorced or not divorced, or like all of that type of energy. So the Judgment card represents a decision being made, and it also represents coming to some sense of neutrality so that you can make a decision. And it also represents ancestors and descendants, and it can represent a skeleton coming out of the closet, or like Pandora's box being opened. If it's like legalities or something like that, something may have happened. Maybe, you know, if one of these people was married, like this person could have been married too and is going through this because, you know, they're pregnant now with someone else's child. That would be challenging. So that there's so many different scenarios that this could be, but there's like one for romance, one for business, and one for law, like a court situation. And then we have the Three of Wands, and the Three of Wands is about someone that's standing on, like where, like you notice there's two wands here. So if there was cheating or something going on, or someone broke the law, here is like this energy is being left behind, and he's got his hand on that wand, and that's about moving forward in a new way, expanding their horizons, moving on, that kind of energy. So this is, you know, in those three scenarios, it could be, I'm picking up there's three scenarios, and maybe they all belong to one person, right? That could be. And also keeping in mind that the Empress can be a male in his feminine energy, and the King and the Empress can represent one person that and this can represent that one person bringing their masculine and feminine energy together. So there's so many different scenarios with this, but the one thing is about this energy here, we started the reading off and it's about fulfillment, and this reading is about you. So, and the only part that seems to be really challenging is here, January, February, March, April, May, June. And that's kind of in the sign of, like, Cancer is, the energy of Cancer is like in July, the sun comes out, you know, the truth comes out. So we'll see. Like, if this is a court proceeding, it could be that it's a blessing. That's the blessing for you, is the judgment regarding that. Whoa. And then we have in December, the devil comes out with temptation. So I'm getting that this could be like from 2025 more, because this seems like to be more of an ending. And so this energy is leftover energy from 2025 possibly, or this energy is temptation is coming in at the end of 2026. So, and look at this. This could talk about ending it, but these two lovers look very similar, if you notice. So this could say that if they decided to get together, here they are chained to the box of Saturn, and the two of them are chained. Actually, though, they have yokes. The chains are very loose on their necks, and they could get out of the situation if they wanted to. So I do feel that this could represent the ending of this, if it's a divorce energy, of there having been, you know, someone stepping outside the marriage. And I still get there could be a pregnancy here. It also could be that something happened with your business, something you worked very hard for, and the Hierophant's coming in as a court person. and you've been worried and like all of this energy, and then the Judgment comes in, and there's all sorts of possibilities, and now you're moving on. Generally, when we have cards with the yellow or golden sky, those are representing more happy days ahead. And so let's see what this temptation from the devil is about. Okay, I'm covering him with the devil with another card. I always do that because you can't get the truth from the devil. But whatever this is, it's required strength, the courage to face your inner fears, and quite often from your childhood. And it represents infinite potential by facing those fears. And the lion represents the fear, and that's why she's putting her hand in its mouth to face her fears and prove to herself that she has the courage to do what she needs to do here. So this could be something like about having to testify against a loved one in court. It could be something that the ancestors did, and it's the blessing is that that's come out, and it's been causing all your life you've had a problem because of it, and now here you are in your strength at the end of December, and the fulfillment is here. And perhaps maybe you had such a tough childhood and your parents got divorced or something, and now like you said, I'm never doing that, I'm not going down the traditional route. But now that you met the Empress, that energy came in, that you have the courage to move forward in that way. And if it's ordained by God here, like which the sun represents with the lovers, it's a divine couple, and this was the underlying energy, and that is the marriage card, and that is the pregnancy card. So if you're enjoying this reading and the suspense, I'm going to clarify this here, because there's 3 situations I'm getting for sure for certain people, and different variations of those 3. This isn't an uncommon scenario. Oh, here we have it. Oh, okay, this is the one that wants to come out. So I'm clarifying with my Oracle Tales from the Vector, and these cards have the numbers of the paintings on my website of my Oracle. I have all the paintings completed. 2007 I started, but there were some really big dragon paintings. It's courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. And so I finished all the paintings in 2020. And now I'm working on bringing it out into the physical. And I'm just gathering information for the book that goes with it. So my goal is to have it out there probably by the end of 2026. And I will have in the description box below the numbers. The cards that I'm using here have the numbers of the paintings in the order they are on my website. So you can go to talesfromthevector.com. That's TAILS if you want to look at what the paintings look like. And also there's some more information there. If you're enjoying this reading, please do like and comment. It really, really empowers me to build my channel. I really, really appreciate it. And let's get into clarifying now. So we've got number 63 is the Trauma Queen. And I'm noticing this 63 right away because it's the end. 2025 is a 9 number. And this is about the end. I feel like this is the end of the drama and like all the drama caused by, it looks like, a queen. And this has caused like this situation of like kind of like a frozen life, waiting to see what happens maybe in court, that kind of energy. So life's a slice, hold the drama. And then we have, for January clarifying, we have manifesting, and from the sacral chakra. So pregnancy. So someone has manifested. I really do feel like someone has manifested, some of you have manifested a baby. And what do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months due in September. That kind of energy. So take it, if it resonates, and otherwise this can just be speaking about maybe you met this King of Wands And, all of this blessing is coming in, and maybe you're getting married, that kind of energy. This is good to see. We've got the card of Fool-HEARTY. So Fool-HEARTY represents a fool that's on their divine path, on their, in what they're doing in their life, their actions they're taking. So Fool-HEARTY is you can anticipate what's going to happen because you're, on the right side of the law. You're on you're on your path that was destined for you. You deserve this fulfillment for doing that. And there's a blessing coming in for you. And here we have, the world is at your feet. And that was what I was talking about getting neutral to, the world is neutrality, basically. If you can get neutral to two extremes, then you can get neutral in between, and you're able to have a more clear head to find, when you get neutral, some people say think positive, but thinking positive isn't going to change. You need to take actions of some sort at times. And so this is saying, if, you can be positive about it, but get neutral to the extremes so that you can figure out what to do. Because if you're leaning one way and, oh, this is positive and this is negative, but it really isn't. The positive is a negative and the negative is a positive. You're trying to turn them in, there's two poles and on a magnet, and one is positive and one is negative, and you can't make the positive one negative, and you can't make the positive one, did I say that? The negative one positive and the positive one negative. You can put two magnets together, the positive and the negative together, or if you put the positive and positive together, they repel each other. And so I feel like that's kind of the energy, is getting neutral to the situation. And then you have the world. And this, I feel like this is like you did get this is about coming into this where you have decided to end this never-ending nightmare, or the court has decided this judgment, something like that. And the World card is the last card of the major arcana. So it's talking about the end of a cycle, and that this is also talking about, the never-ending nightmare, or the solution to the never-ending nightmare. And look at that. We have judgment, and judgment right across from this, and judgment here. So this is saying, I feel this is saying that this is because it's unfettered. You're unfettered now. The judgment has come down, and I'm getting its judgment. This is cosmic judgment. So the judgment is coming down, and this is more enlightenment to end the never-ending nightmare. So that's awesome. Justice, redemption, 1111, 11, 111. That's the energy. See, it's really funny how tarot cards work. Sometimes the numbers come up, like that. So justice is here, the redemption, and because the ancestors are here as well as the descendants, the money we're talking about is like a legacy of wealth. So it's generational wealth from a family. So it could have something to do with your parents and not you, but the judgments come through, and now all the money they worked so hard for is going to its rightful place. And that's going to allow you to step out of whatever life you're in right now and move forward, because you'll have more assets to work with. And then we have the worldly desires. So this card is talking about, like, it's a karmic space that you can fall in. We all can. And that is where we're so concerned about worldly desires that we don't look after our spiritual nature. And it also can be that we're so spiritual that we don't look after our 3D needs. And there needs to be a balance between both. Like, you want to go after your authentic desires, and you want to make sure that at the same time you're balanced in that. And perhaps there was some imbalance here, and that, and that's the energy coming in. but it really feels like this coming into 2026, it's a 1 year, you know, the 111, 11, 11, 11, justice, judgment, judgment. It's like, it's saying, I feel like 2026 is going to be a much better year for you than 2025 was. And it might, I'm getting, it starts off like maybe meeting someone that empowers you to move forward, or just getting into that energy of being visionary and looking at things differently so that you can have this fulfillment. So, and then we have Capricorn energy coming in, and that would be in July. And Capricorn is all about ambition, responsibility, and Saturn. And the thing is, this is the Saturn's box here. So this energy, these lovers are chained to this Saturn energy, and Capricorn is actually the temptation is part of the Capricorn energy. Like each of the cards in the tarot is linked to different planets, and Saturn is the planet that Capricorn is linked to. This is all about ambition and being responsible with that, being able to see the possibilities and challenges. But it also represents this temptation, because the devil is that, it's temptation. And that's because Capricorn is the most mature of all the earth signs. And Capricorn's job is to be ambitious. And, you know, it's to be like, they are like, if you think about the mountain goat, climbing a mountain, and if you've ever seen the mountain goats traveling, like in Canada, if you travel through Banff, you'll see them on these like steep, you know, cliff or like almost like a wall, and they're up there at the top, and you're wondering, how did they get up there? And the Capricorn symbol is actually a goat, but it has the tail of a fish. And so you can imagine trying to climb up a mountain with your front legs as the goat, but your back legs, you don't have back legs, you have a fish tail instead. So you'd have to use that as a rudder. So it's that kind of energy coming in. But it's interesting because the Cancer energy is here. And this energy, because in August we move into Leo. And so right in the month that is, you know, your month, this energy from Saturn is coming in or being cleared. And then we have indifference. So the indifference is on the Chariot, and that's destined path. And this also represents karma. So there might have been something about, there's some indifference maybe. You know, when people get in situations where they get tempted, they kind of sometimes don't care what's happening around them, and they end up, you know, being indifferent to the energy of what they're doing, causing suffering for others. So, you know, and we have like this area here that could represent court also. So I just feel, again, take what aligns with you, with your energy. And I feel like also with this card coming out that, you know, this would be like if the baby was conceived in January, this is about, you know, here we are, you know, 9 months later. And this energy is, you know, denial is a tactic. So it might have been like, you might have been denying, you know, like it might have taken you, well, you usually sometimes don't really find out that, like this Hierophant could represent a pregnancy test, you know, or going to the doctor and finding out you are pregnant, and your world will change. And then, you know, you're okay, what am I going to do with this? But in the end, the fulfillment does come in. Let go of the drama. You can't be in denial about a baby. If you're pregnant, you know, you're going to have to face the fact and figure out what's going to happen here. And it's talking about when the problem with denial is you can really miss out on a lot of opportunities if you're not looking at things the way that they need to be. So the end of a cycle is a good, it's like a judgment that you're, going to have to move forward. And this is very interesting because we have judgment here and we have judgment here. And I think this happened either in Taurus or maybe in Gemini. I can't remember because I've been doing a lot of readings, where I think they were in exactly this position that judgment came up with both these cards in the reading across from each other this way. Really, so there's judgment here. This judgment is cosmic judgment. This is from Most High. This is spiritual judgment. This is court judgment. And the judgment will leave you unfettered. And the reason this is here is because nobody's really qualified to judge other people. You're only qualified to judge yourself. And because God can see the whole picture, you don't know what happened to someone when they were younger. You don't know what was really going on. You may know they broke the law or whatever, but you don't really understand like God does, like to be able to actually judge the person. And the fall, and then this is the same dragon falling through the sky from the Pleiades, and this is the cosmic heart, and then this is the heart chakra. And this is falling and failing in love is a matter of I. So this is about being unfettered in your love life. It's really, that's kind of weird, but whatever. And then the sun comes in. Yeah, so this judgment is from the Most High, as well as it could be from the judicial system for some. And then this is about being able to really enjoy your love life and enjoy this partnership and this marriage. It feels like the judgment from God is that we started off with this fulfillment in marriage. So that energy is like, in God's eyes, this is a divine union. And you're coming to that conclusion. You had to work through some things that happened in your childhood or through some fears you have about commitment. In any case, you're unfettered and you're unfettered. Unfettered from this energy, whatever that was. So really, really cool. And then we have an energetic upgrade at the top there. Right on top of the devil and everything that was worrying you. Now you've moved into like the 1, the 1, 11, 11, and 1, 11. Like that's so cool. And 1 and 9 is 10, and that breaks down to a 1. So I feel like this is saying either you've already gone through this and this is 26, the beginning of 26, or you went through, like this is cleaning up and this is cleaning up 2025. I feel like that's what it is. But the other thing that is coming up is with the Hierophant, if you found out, in the 3rd month of pregnancy that you are pregnant, to remind you that God gives us children as a blessing, and they're always a blessing, even if it causes all of this energy. Children come into the world to make us better, and that's sitting on the ancestors and descendants. So it's a real big gift to be able to be gifted with a child from God. So this is a really good reading. I'm happy for you, Cancer. If you enjoyed this reading, please do like and comment. Let me know what's happening with you. And consider subscribing if you're enjoying the energy of the channel. I am for sure going to do an end of the year reading for you. And I also am working right now. I just finished your reading yesterday, and I'm going to start putting them out in the next couple days for a sneak peek into 2026. So I can't remember. Maybe that was the one where the judgment came up like this, like exactly in these positions. So anyway, keep a lookout for those, and I will talk to you then. Bye for now. Sorry, Stella, I have to wake you up. I have to wake you up, little kitty.